Three. Three.
Oh, here we are again. It is March 29th, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live&Breathing's Artist Picks. I am your host and CEO of Live&Breathing, Justin Glanville. And next to me is our artist who has picked out some of our videos today. He is a very dear friend. His name is Jon Whitlock. Jon, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here to your house that's not lived in anymore.
It is not. It's a
just
studio.
a shell and of vibes.
A shell of vibes, but not vibraphones.
Yeah.
You play vibraphones?
I did in college. Very
Okay.
poorly.
Really? I can see you do.
Well, I mean, I think I
anything
could
poorly.
play them okay, but I could never read really well. You know, all the classical,
Okay.
the read the music thing.
Yeah.
I had to memorize everything.
Are you still that way?
Yeah, I'm still that stupid, yeah.
That's not
No.
stupid.
No, I never was.
Dumber than you are.
No, yeah, I was never a good reader, I don't think. I could read drum rhythms okay,
Yeah.
but like reading off is just too much.
In the
And
time that we've known each other, I've seen you make that transition from being an amazing drummer into a shitty drummer. I'm just kidding. into
one with dementia.
into an amazing singer-songwriter.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say.
Do you think that that's accurate, or did you always have songs that I was not aware about?
Well,
aware of?
I always had songs, but like I've always just kind of gone where the wind blows. So like I started out like all in high school, all into rudimental snare drum, and then the next thing I know, I was playing like hand drums and congas and timbales and Afro-Cuban bands and shit like that. And then
That's
it
so
just
cool.
was like, oh, I should play drum set, and then started playing drum set. And I was like, oh, I like guitar, piano, and like so it was just kind of. Just get whatever I'm interested in, and I'm only going to be interested in it for a short amount of time. So, I just get what I can out of it, and I wanted to. But I've been writing songs since the early '90s, but they were always on like MIDI keyboards and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, and they always, it's interesting because, like now it's all like folk singer-songwriter stuff. But back in the early 90s, I was like way into like Frank Zappa and like the art rock from the 70s and shit. So everything was like 12-minute songs that had 5 sections and, like they were all themed. And yeah, I was way into that stuff.
What is your, like, recalling that time, what is your favorite song? Or how did it go? What was it about? You don't have to
my stuff?
Yeah, you don't have to perform it, but...
It was probably, well, I don't remember the name of it, but it was like this epic, like, 12-minute little mini movie in a sense that was about somebody that kind of goes into a purgatory of some sort.
Okay.
And it's like, it has like 5 sections to it that could actually be their own songs if you took it out.
Did they ever make it out?
No, I think it just sort of ends. He ends, and I was also really into Pink Floyd at that time. So like me and my brother were watching the Wall on a regular basis.
Okay.
And so it kind of ends like that with like the whole. I brought in the judgment kind of thing, and it doesn't go well for him. No, he just I wouldn't say he goes to
Never
hell,
does.
but he doesn't win.
Yeah.
So. I do recall that one, and it's and that
What
was
was it
just based
called?
off. I was trying to remember.
Is there any documentation of any of these?
There is somewhere there is a the MIDI recording that I did.
Oh, cool.
I'll play it for you sometime.
I'd love to
I had
hear
to
that.
find it, but it sounds.
Let's bring it back to life.
Yeah, it's like but the crazy thing about it is it's very involved, very layered and everything, but it's all done on like early 90s or mid 90s, I'd say, like MIDI keyboard, Casio style.
Okay.
And into like I would layer it in a little sequencer and then take it to a 4-track so it sounds like a video game. A very elaborate score for a video game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time that we met?
I don't remember the first time we
I don't.
met. at all.
I know.
I remember the first time we like really connected, and when I think really had time to sit back and get to know each other was, I think that it was out at the dacha one night, and it was the night before I was gonna leave to go on the road with Woody Pines, and you were like, "Hey, I'm hanging out at the dacha," and I came out there and we watched the fireflies and got, like, where the hell you come from? Where, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think there were other things involved with
yeah.
chemical wise.
So there's this house on the French Broad River that it's kind of gone from one friend to another friend to another friend, and it's on, I don't know, 60 some acres.
Yeah.
Our one musician friend to another one, and it is on the French Broad River in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where we are. And I would stay there in the winters often because the people who are paying rent, Paulie Cuffer, who we'll have on the show in a month or so, and Ian Thomas, they were renting the place, and then they would go to Montana or on the road or wherever in the winter, and that's when the band that I worked for, the Avett Brothers, was always off. So I would stay there and help take care of the place. There's no central heating, so it's like harvesting your wood, chopping the wood, and the rhythm of the wood stove kind of ran the day. I really miss being out there. Now the guy Sam Quinn is out there. That guy.
It's sort of been in this friend family since the early 90s. Like Mark was in there. I think he was the first one that actually lived in the shack.
Is he the only one that's not in the music industry? Everybody else.
So. And then at some point he moved down to the cabin by the river. Mm-hmm. And then it started like flowing. Brock Henderson moved in. That's the first time I went, is when Brock Henderson was living there.
He also had his wedding there.
And he had his wedding there.
Yeah.
And so every time somebody's moved out of that little shack of a house, they make sure that somebody, quote, in the friend family takes it over. And when, so we've sort of had that spot.
It is
years.
A huge place in a lot of our hearts. I know that Nick, business partner running the whole show over there, Nick Corrigan, he helped me bury a dog there. I know that
I have a dog buried
you have
there.
A dog buried there too. And it's funny that none of us own the property.
I know. We're just leaving all our shit and our dead dogs there.
It's the dogs loved it there.
Yeah.
It was even when I wasn't, after I lived there, like I would still go there to walk the dogs, and they would get so excited once you turned onto that road. They just knew where it was like, it's go time. It's gonna be river time. I'm gonna chase some squirrels or deer through the woods. Like,
it's a crazy, awesome place that has amazingly just sort of stayed there. For well over 20 years. Probably.
Man, I hope it continues.
I mean,
Have you been out there since Sam lives there?
One time maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's stepped it up a notch. The garden is incredible.
Yeah.
He just got bees, and he's got an amazing chicken coop with some of the prettiest. I have a couple of chickens and going to get some more. He has a lot of chickens, and they're all different kinds.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how many different shades there are of eggshells when it comes to chickens.
Right.
Some are green, all the different flavors of brown and like red to maroonish to white.
Yeah.
I don't know if he picked the chickens for the color of their eggs or what, but there's some gorgeous.
I wouldn't
eggs.
be surprised.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it's totally the same thing. Should we introduce our first music video?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Okay, let's do that. Do you remember which one you picked first?
I think it's The Devil Makes Three.
Yeah.
And so this is some dudes and a girl playing some really awesome sort of string stuff and singing awesome harmonies. But I love this tune because of the changes in it and the way it moves, and they're just awesome. And so
been around a long time. Really tight band.
So so this is Banger Mash by The Devil Makes Three. Maybe.
Meet me down look into the future, see what we can see. Man, I say your future looks pretty damn dim. I couldn't say if you're all gonna sink or swim. Give me $5 and I'll sing you a song. Gonna tell you something you knew all along. That's a yes or no, we all die at the end of the road. Ain't nothing around here you can hold. When I go, just take my bones, scatter them from here back to my home. Yes or no, we all die at the end of the road. Ain't nothing around here you can hold. When I go, just take my bones, scatter them from here back to my home. Back to my home. Back to my home. Listen to me now when I speak. Do my best talking when I'm fast asleep. Come on, lay your head down next to mine, and you can listen to the spirits of the dead just whine. Come on, help me with these iron wings. We're gonna fly so high we see the angels sing. Damn, it feels good to have my feet off the ground. I hope the good God Almighty that I never come down. Cause yes I know we all die at the end of the road. Ain't nothing around here you can hold. When I go, just take my bones, scatter them from here back to my home. Yes I know we all die at the end of the road. Ain't nothing around here you can hold. When I go, just take my bones, scatter them from here back to my home. Back to my home. Back to my home.
Let's go to war.
All right.
Two.
That I've seen that band a couple times, and they are great at getting the crowd going.
Yeah.
They have some diehard fans, and I love that. But I kind of said that in hopes to lead into a band that gets the crowd going that I saw once and was completely blown away. And we have so many dear friends in that band, and you being one of them, the Band of Humans.
Oh yeah, I think that was yeah. So Phil Pollard in the Band of Humans. Phil was he was a percussionist, drummer, and it was a crazy band that was like, he started out fronting it on, his job was singing and writing songs and playing vibraphone. And then, so it was vibraphone, and then your regulars, bass, drums, keyboard, guitar, and then 3 horn players, and one of them played a marching mellophone, and that was Kyle Campbell. Wow. And then a trombone player, Dave Nichols from Smokin' Dave and the Primo Dopes, a big band here in the 80s and 90s in Knoxville. Then Matt Morlock as a percussionist playing various shakers and shit, and timpani. And usually he played the timpani with flip-flops in his hands. And so the band always was costumed, dressed up. The music was all over the place. It could be Phil reciting the Gettysburg Address over a funk song, or it just went everywhere. We had a song in 11, and just, you know, some of it was mathematical, some of it was funk, some of it was bluegrass, you know, like.
During that last song, we were talking about trying to get, or think you know, of a lot of places where some of the recordings are of this band. So one thing that wasn't mentioned, Phil passed away.
Right.
How that was?
2011.
Okay. Wow, it's been that long.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Crazy.
So the band is no more, but there's very few recordings out there.
Correct.
If you know or have any of these recordings, please get a hold of one of us.
Yeah. Give it up.
Give it up. Share it. Let's get it to the world. If you find it on the internet, share it. There's just some of the most fun, entertaining, driven, passionate, goofy sound collection of sounds I've ever heard.
And it's funny because, like, Phil was just so, he brought in, you know, a lot of amazing musicians to do this. And there was, at the very beginning, there was a little preparation to his songs. But a lot of time, I do have a phone recording of one of the rehearsals we did before a show. And it's basically all of us in Morlock music, taking instruments off the wall and banging on them, and like, and not, it just, we just basically drank beer and, you know, had a good time for 2 hours, and then be like, well, we'll figure out the songs when we get on stage. You know, like, okay, we'll get it worked out. And so it was just like a fun, loose atmosphere, and, you know.
It didn't ever feel that way. I didn't think. It felt, well, it was definitely like chaotic-ish, but nobody ever felt lost, if that makes sense.
I think the idea behind it, at least from my perspective playing drums with it, was that at any moment there was going to be a train wreck.
Okay.
And it was all about manipulating that train wreck into something fun and interesting. And, you know, and like, so that's what would basically happen. Like, we kind of knew what was going on, and definitely the forms of the songs, like, but there was always a place to go with it. And it was always okay to change your approach to it, and like, if it worked or didn't work, it didn't matter, because we'd pick up the pieces and keep going and make that a part of the show.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I miss Phil. He was a character, a really funny dude, and a very creative person. And it was because of his attitude as the quote band leader.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, do what you will, you know.
Yeah.
Here's a canvas. Here's an idea. Do what you will with it, and let's have a lot of fun with it.
I remember him walking. That's a really great description of him. But because he didn't live here when I was living here,
Yeah, he'd
if
moved
I
to
recall
Richmond.
correctly. Yeah. So when he would come to town, if I was in Morlock Music, when he came to town, him and Matt together, and then whatever music lessons were going on, or anybody that was in the shop, he was instantly engaged with and making sounds with. And it was like an unreal, just a beautiful thing. His energy was just so bright and so outward. And he just made everybody happy and want to be a part of, like, you know, whatever he was doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful person.
Beautiful, yeah, beautiful soul.
So I think that if I understood correctly, he inspired the next band, the next video.
I think that, you know, that would be, I don't know. I know that that Dave Bowers,
who's the singer of the next video?
Who's the singer of the next group, was really into and friends with Phil, and was every show. And then even when he started his band, took one of the more ridiculous of Phil's songs, the one that's in like 11/8, and covered it after Phil died in his band. But they sort of brought the same full performance thing. We're doing like themed costumes or something like that. And watching him take that, when Phil was gone, take that role sort of in the local scene, was really cool to see. And he does it so well. Dave is a ridiculously entertaining front man and incredible singer. And and Scuba, who plays drums with the next band, King Super, he would sub for me when I couldn't be at the Humans gig. So he did a bunch of Humans gigs, and
Also, I got to point out who we're talking about. Scuba is Steve Corrigan, who is Nick Corrigan's brother.
right.
All right,
It's a big family around
it's
here.
a big family around here.
So yeah, so you can, at least I can see in King Super though like a little bit of that inspiration. I
Yeah,
think.
that's a beautiful
And
thing.
and all those dudes are just so talented, and
Yeah.
the ridiculous guitar players they had that it's awesome.
Do you? Because we recorded King Super a few times, and I don't remember when I saw this one which session it was.
This is the Bristol one in the sewing factory at
the black and white
at-
suits. LC King.
Yelsey King. Yeah,
Is this the
this is checkerboard.
checkerboard suits?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I kind of I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to play, but this was the only one where they were full mask, and I was like, we're gonna go with that one.
Okay, cool.
So I used a visual reason, not necessarily a musical one on this one, but the music is awesome.
if you like it, which I think it's easy to do because everybody is so great in this band, we have a lot of videos with this band, and totally worth. If you want to laugh and see some amazingly talented musicians having a great time, you should definitely check out King Super on Live and Breathing.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce this song?
Yeah, this song is called Glow Stick by King Super and the Excellence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great merchandise too. And
Action.
we're live. Is there a goofier band?
In the world.
Probably, but they'd be up there.
Yeah.
I can say that they gave me a CD a while ago, and the Avett Brothers were going to be on Jimmy Fallon, and so they got the Roots as a house band, and I took their CD that they gave me, and I set it down on Questlove's drum throne right before he got there, and I was very intentional because I knew like if it sat there too long, somebody grabbed it or whatever and cleaned up. So I just sat there and waited, and made sure that like it didn't get picked up. And he sat down and he looked at it and set it down, and I'm pretty sure that he left with it that day. Whether he listened to it or not, whether he liked it or not, I do not know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know that I would do that for anybody else other than that group of people, because I love them all so much, and just thought they're just so fun to listen to, and they make light of some heavy topics, and I don't know, I just love that. I just love that band. That was a great pick.
I do too. And seeing them live is just like, they just go all the way out. Like they
really
go,
do.
you know, you're getting your money's worth when you come.
Absolutely.
It doesn't, you know, just the full visual audio experience, audible experiences. It's all there. I love it. It's just great. I wish I could have seen them more when they were around. I was touring a lot at that time.
Yeah.
So, but any chance I was able to go and see them was like, you know, I'm going. So.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is Dave in a band now?
I don't think so.
That's a shame. I love him as a frontman.
He also does incredible like visual art stuff.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Quinn, who we talked about, who's living out by the river right now. I've talked about before. Him and I are working on an album in the studio. I think that we've got just about all the tracking done. We've started mixing some songs. That band had a show 2 nights ago. The Cartwright Brothers is his current band, and they are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. And Sam's songwriting is just one of a kind. I mean, it's just such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And he's a bass player in King Super.
And that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm talking about him.
You forget sometimes,
Yeah,
you know,
I
that
do.
like everybody in the world doesn't know that person. You know?
I am incredibly forgetful, and I think that we were talking about that earlier as well. Especially when it's with names. It doesn't matter how well I know somebody. If I have to introduce somebody or I'm in that moment, I just freeze up, and I try to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah.
Or I try to try to create the space where they're going to introduce each other and give them their names, because I don't know why I get so nervous about that.
I think that my brain has run out of the storage space where it says names. So I think I get like 150 I'm allowed to keep, you know, in there. And then so like over time, if I don't see you, your name falls out. And that makes room for one new person.
It's true.
But it's just kind of like it's just like a, you know, one in, one out situation now. And so, you know, if I have really close friends that I haven't seen in a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, you run into them, and then you're like, lock.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy, because it used to be with people that I might have met once or twice, you know, and now my name memory is headed out.
That happens to me, and I think probably the same with you, but especially at shows. Like people, when you're traveling around, you've made all these great connections, especially like in my 20s, like met so many great people, so many late nights, and like had really deep conversations with them. And then now they come up like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. And I know the face, but the name, I'm just like,
yeah. And plus, like, I did a thing one time where I was like, all right, I carry around this book for jotting down ideas and stuff. I know I have a cell phone, but it's still, I like to write things.
Yeah.
So what I did was, like, I went on the road. It was like a month-long tour, and was having this discussion with somebody about remembering people's names, and that people constantly come up to you that you met like one time, the last time you were in that town, and they're like, John, and they remember the entire conversation. And for them, it's like an isolated moment, like that thing. But you know, when you go to a different venue every night, you have that conversation with someone else on, you know, a regular basis. And so I was like, every time I exchange names with someone, I'm going to put a mark in this book. And so after 2 weeks,
Just a mark, not a name.
Just a mark. Yeah. I wanted to
Hello,
have,
487.
right, exactly. But the idea was to see how many people I would end up,
Oh, wow.
having that would, because once you exchange names, there's some sort of expectation that you might remember, or they would have you remember their name, or we've exchanged names and we've met and had a conversation now. Next time I see you, you should remember me. And like after 2 weeks, it was like 120 something, and I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep up with this. I'm just gonna own the fact that I can't remember your damn name.
I think that on this line, like, we are part of entertainment when we come into a town. Like, you have a different role than I do. I'm a sound guy. I'm not on stage. Like, nobody should know that I'm there or know me, but that's not the way that it always works. And so,
Right.
you get in conversations, but the people that are there, they're leaving their day job or their routine and coming into a unique experience, an escape, or whatever it is.
Right.
And if all goes well and we all work as a team, whether we're in the spotlight or not, they get a memory and they have this experience that they take home and they think about a lot. Where for us, it's just like, all right, now we got to break this down and we're going to do it tomorrow night also.
Right.
And so, like, it's completely different for us
Yeah.
when it comes to those kind of interactions.
Right.
That said, like, you also meet band members in other bands and maybe have short to long runs with them, and we're on the same side, and that's
Yeah.
still nowadays happens to me. But in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, remembering somebody's phone number used to be so easy for me.
Oh, me too.
And now I
Yeah.
can't. There's no way I could do that now.
Yeah.
Is that age or is that telephones rotting our brain? Or?
Yes and yes, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely memory fails as you get older. Not necessarily like to the extent of like dementia or whatever. That's going to happen to some certain percentage of people. But I think it's just like your eyes. It's like being able to read. Like, I went in, I was just like looking at my phone. I went into the eye doctor and I was like, man, I'm having trouble seeing my phone. And then he's like,
Your glasses are
how
on
old are
backwards.
you? And I was like, 40. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what happens. You turn 40 and he's like, it's going to get worse. He's like, you're going to start with reading glasses that are at 2 or 1 now. He goes, and it's just going to keep.
You're going to start with reading glasses,
I'm
then
up
we're
to 2
going
now.
into a colon check, and then
right, exactly. So, yeah. But it is funny with that because, like,
different doctors. If the same
Yeah,
doctor tries
same.
to do that,
I'm going to switch it up, I think, next time.
go to
I'm going to have the butt doctor look at my eyes.
check.
So, anyway, that's weird. But,
They might be into it. You never know.
yeah, he
Might get a
well,
discount.
I mean, he did become a butt doctor.
That's true.
But, yeah, so that's that. That's that
A cave
conversation.
dweller. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Do we need to get? From this conversation, I'm uncomfortable going into this next video. Quite
This
yet.
is all the more reason to.
We gotta sweep into something more lovely, more.
Yeah, I don't know how to get from butt doctor to
Red Shoes and Rosin.
red shoes and rosin.
Okay.
Maybe you guys at home can help us out.
Sorry,
with that.
y'all. We have a Paul Tucci chiming in, and I believe that comment popped up when we were talking about Sam's eggs.
Yes,
And his chickens. I don't wish that was true. It is truly amazing, Paul, the different colors of eggs. These do not have designs. If they had like little patterns on them when they came out, it's like, where'd you get that chicken? I don't know where to go, John.
I think we just slip into it. So,
Okay.
So, 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to play my own songs in front of people, but actually that's not. I right before that, I had been writing songs and learning to play guitar for like 3 or 4 years, sort of, and I was teaching myself to learn guitar by writing songs on it, but I was very shy about it. I had, I don't know, for whatever reason, playing drums and hiding behind a drum set was no problem, but then getting out front and I was kind of daunting, And so
Bet.
at that time was hanging around a bunch of people in town, and they would play music at at the house on the porch and that kind of thing. And these two, Meade Armstrong and Jessica Watson, were a part of that, and were very much supportive in me getting over the fear, and and a couple of other people in that group too. Oops. Oh no.
No.
Like Anna Smith and Mike McGill,
Oh, yeah.
and like
Yep.
these are the people I was, they're like, oh man, no, it's great, and they were probably lying, but they were like, come on, yeah, that
No,
sounds
they
great,
weren't
man,
lying.
you can do it. And then so I started something, and Meade and Jessica agreed to help me out with it and play with me, and they sing incredible harmonies and are awesome, and they play in a band even at that time called Red Shoes and Rosin, which is like our trio, except Shauna is in there singing, and she's awesome and writes great songs.
Yes, she does.
And so that's Red Shoes and Rosin and how we have that connection.
I'm going to put a quick pause on that to say that Jessica is the host of our Appalachian String In, which happens the last Tuesday of every month. It is an old-time music show, and it happened this Tuesday right here. Happens once a month, as I just said, last Tuesday of every month. Along with that, she was also, I think, the last guest on this show, to which we also talked about this. And I often talk about Meade and brag about her baking, because she is been working very hard for many years, and is now in the final steps of opening her own location to sell and teach her passion of baking, to which she is incredible at.
She's very incredible at
Mother's-
best bread you can get.
Bread, cookies, everything.
Yeah.
She'll often play on the Appalachian String In because she's an incredible musician. But she was on that show, I can't remember how many months ago, and my 9-year-old son was here, and he loves helping set up and being part of the studio and meeting all the musicians and whatnot. He plays a little piano. But she brought in some cookies that she made, and she set them in the kitchen, and my son was like, oh, can I have a cookie? I was like, yeah, sure. And he has it, and he kind of like lights up, and I explained that, this is Meade. She made these cookies, and he was just infatuated with her from then on. And he asks about her, and she's going to be offering classes, and whichever one it is that she teaches how to make those cookies, no lie, best cookie I've ever had. And it's not like you ever really find a bad cookie, so to stand out in that is pretty special.
Absolutely.
And just, I think it's like her amazing, beautiful heart just comes out in her baking. And these cookies were incredible. The bread's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's mother's daughter bread. And they're going to be at the Baker's Creek, or she's going to be at the Baker's Creek. I don't know what that whole thing is called. It's
Baker's
Baker's Creek, the old church
I
that's
think
there.
they're calling it something along with Baker's Creek, but it's
Yeah.
the old church and Crafty Bastards in there and a couple of other places.
There's
and
a restaurant that's great,
Yeah.
great burger there that I've had.
Yeah, it's a cool little spot to hang out at. I was there for Jessica's birthday like a week
That's
and a half
right.
ago.
Yeah, I tried to come, but with I think Nick's in the same boat. The young kids, we just
Yeah.
can't. The nights, doing things at nights are hard these days. So
It'll get harder.
it will get harder. It will get harder.
No, I'm kidding.
Like I have a 9-year-old and a 6-month-old, and the 9-year-old, amazing, easy. As far as he goes to bed, he can do a lot of other things on his own, but with a 6-month-old, you're bound to them.
Yeah.
Which is all a beautiful thing. I think we were talking about earlier, I've never been happier. I've told people my cup is overflowing as that goes.
Yeah.
And it is not always that way. So I'm trying to be as vocal and open about that, hoping that it spreads and sustains as long as it can, because life is full of ups and downs,
Yeah,
as we
it
know.
is. It's the way it is.
And right now, just kind of firing on all cylinders.
Awesome.
This show is growing. Our other show is growing. We're making better videos than we've ever made. And a lot of that, I want to just dive right into the promo section of our followers and subscribers and the people who click to turn on their notifications and all this crap that I hate saying as far as our YouTube goes. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you. It makes everything keep moving forward and growing, along with those who go the extra step and go to patreon.com and search Live and Breathing, and then either subscribe on whatever tier they're comfortable with or make whatever donation that they can make. It's keeping the lights on and keeping this happening, and we got to keep growing to keep it happening because the bills keep adding up. So huge thank you to everybody who has taken those steps, and if you can share it with somebody else that's going to enjoy it and they can make those steps, let's keep that going. Let's keep it going because we have so many ideas and so many more projects that we want to start. But there's a financial barrier, so we're getting there, and just incredibly thankful. And with that, two people, Mead and Jessica, who have really helped and given their time with hosting or being on our shows and whatnot, are in this next band for this next video that we're going to share, which is...
It is called Don't Throw Sticks by Red Shoes and Rosin.
Awesome. Thank you.
I can't believe I remembered.
Great job. We're live.
We're live.
I think that we're live.
And in person.
Okay, so that was some more of Knoxville's amazing talent.
Yeah.
And all of your projects and things you've worked on have, for the most part, I can think of a couple that this is not true, or one, but it's all been Knoxville talent.
Mostly, yeah. Except for maybe, while I've been here, it's mostly been Knoxville talent, with exception of, I did runs with J.P. Harris.
That's what I was thinking of.
Woody Pines loves it.
To that note, I believe, and if anybody can prove me wrong, do it. On this topic alone. Everything else, I don't really want to hear it. I'm wrong a lot. But you have been on Live and Breathing more than anybody else.
That's very possible.
I'm pretty sure that that's true.
Yeah, I think there's probably 6 or 7 bands, I think. Seven or so.
I was trying to lead over the break. We were talking about what you're up to now and have been doing, and I think it's awesome. I didn't know that you were playing also part of the set of Heart.
Yes. Well, it started last year. I started drum teching for Ann Wilson.
Okay.
And her drummer, Sean T. Lane, who you should check out on his own, because he does this thing called the bike. It's an instrument he made out of a bike frame, and it has a bunch of shit hanging off of it, and it has like a humbucker on it with a string, and then other contact mics, and he runs all that through an amp and into a series of effects pedals, and then makes the craziest fucking noises you've ever heard. Like,
does it move? Are there wheels on it?
No, he just holds everything.
Do the pedals engage?
No, it's just the frame.
Just the frame.
No wheels, no.
Okay,
like,
cool.
Whatever.
I
So it's just the frame with a bunch of other metallic stuff hanging off that he's built into it for specific sounds, and it's crazy. He plays it with Ann, and he plays it with Hart a little bit. But Sean T. Lane, you can look him up on Instagram. There's some examples of what it does. It's badass. And I was telling him just this last week, he should be one of the artists at Big Ears, because it's right up, like the stuff that he does is 100% Big Ears, like crazy noise and like, you know. So anyway, so to answer your actual question, yeah, I started with Ann Wilson, and then they were trying to decide whether they wanted to do another Heart tour again, and so in December they got together to do 4 shows. And while in those rehearsals, they were like, "Wouldn't it be cool if we had a shaker on these streams?" And then so like they looked at me and they were like, "Go get a shaker." And so I'm like back there like playing shaker. And then they were like, "Well, there's congas on Magic Man, so might as well." I'm bringing in, you know. So at this point, like I'm like suddenly cool. On like 5 songs, and
so you went from teching to performing.
Yeah, but I'm doing them both at this point at the same time, which is awesome, because I love what I do tech wise. I really love it. I never even thought about it, and they called me in July through a friend of a friend, and they're like, the drum tech here had to leave immediately, and we need somebody tonight, and like, can you get to Nashville by 11 o'clock? And at this point it was like 5:30 at afternoon. And I was like, okay. So I was like, just like pack some bags. I probably need black stuff and a flashlight. And then good.
Black stuff and a flashlight.
Yeah.
That is a perfect stage tech.
Yeah. And then I woke up the next morning and was like, I wonder what I do. And so, you know, like I met the drummer, and he's an awesome person, incredible human being, and was like, just do this and do that, and we're good, you know. And like, so over the time, you know, it's been, I love it, you know. I mean, everybody on that crew is super cool, and all the way up from Ann, all the way down to the lowest dude, they're all just super sweet people, you know. And it's been awesome.
I've talked often or praised or adored or whatever the word is for awesome crews. And when I say crew, I don't mean I mean the band too. Like, you travel as a unit. The show as a unit. Yeah. It's a whole crew. And, you know, you have people that are on stage and off stage. And when everybody's cool and gets along That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And it is such a special thing to have. I am incredibly blessed to have that right now with the Abe. It's like we all are just one unit, and everybody's happy to be there, and everybody else is happy to work with us. And we've worked hard to have that reputation. But it is, it's just like when you have people that are unhappy traveling or being on the road,
Yeah.
that creeps into everybody else in one way or
Absolutely.
another, and it's kind of toxic.
Yeah.
So what a blessing to have that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I'm really digging it, and I'm really digging the people. It was so easy to get assimilated with the people. Like, I'm not, I kind of can be extroverted and introverted, and like new people, I kind of have a way of going about it because I moved around a lot when I was a kid, and it was always a new fucking school, every 2 years, and it was like, but I don't like it. I don't like being thrown into situations where I'm a stranger and everyone else is a stranger to me, and it's like, within 2 days, it was like, oh, okay, I feel comfortable here and here. And then within a week, I was like, I feel like I know all these people. And by the end of the first 4-week tour, I was like, God damn, I'm going to miss these people. Like, it was super awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it fell in so quickly and so easily that, and there are people, like, it ranges from, a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, all the way up to people in their 60s and everything in between.
Yeah.
All different walks of life, and it's amazing that many people can come together. And
I think
just
it really
get
takes
along.
that diversity to make it healthy.
Yeah.
To have like the age gap, if you will, but also like some people on our crew are just like they love metal, and there's nothing metal. Well, the brothers might be insulted if I said that.
Yeah, there's a little metal.
There's
in
metal
there.
in their hearts,
Yeah.
and there is a little bit of metal on stage, but they are not a metal band. That's very fair to say.
Right.
And also like I don't know, just all the different genres and kinds of people. Like nobody is cookie cutter. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps, especially me growing up as an only child and being a very spoiled, like kind of a selfish brat. In a lot of ways. I've had to like really learn how to break down a lot of those barriers, and all these different kinds of people and whatnot have really helped me. And whether they lost their patience or were incredibly patient with me,
Yeah.
having that growth out there with that kind of support and love, it makes it, I don't know, it makes life worth living and
Absolutely.
work worth working.
Yeah, it makes you, and it makes you more inspired to do well what you're doing with them. Kind of,
Absolutely, always wanting to improve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always, it's just like instead of being like, well, I mean, technically I can just head out of the theater now and go do my own damn thing.
Yeah.
But man, I wanted to check on, and it makes you think like, I want to check on so-and-so. I know
Yeah.
they were struggling with something, and blah, 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 like it just kind of makes you want to go a step further than just what it's expected.
They're going to work on that amp. Maybe I can put a hand in, or maybe I can just watch them and keep them company and learn something.
Or, I mean, it just makes you want to go a little further.
For sure.
Instead of what's just expected. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool situation.
Well, this band is not on the road anymore that we're about to introduce. I don't. That's a terrible way to hop from one band to another. Being on the road's awesome when you find the right crew, and not. This band is not on the road anymore.
Right. I believe that to be true. Maybe different people from it.
I'm sure that they are all so talented.
Are we to Sallie now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we were talking about the same one.
Yeah. Oh, the last band also is the same. Okay, so these next two videos, though, we're going to go one at a time, full of great, talented people. Sallie Ford, I believe, is still performing, but not under Sallie Ford and the Sound Outside, which is what this band is. Do you have anything you want to say about them? We talked a little bit about
that, like, the only way I came across, like, this Sallie Ford and the Sound Outside was through Live and Breathing. I was just like,
cool.
boom, whoa, and then like, and so, so Live and Breathing, and then I think that happens a lot. I think there's several bands that I've been introduced to through Live and Breathing alone.
It's one of my biggest hopes.
It's just so, and a lot of those festivals, a lot of the bands I know, and because like they'll be at the same festivals, and that's the one thing I love about that sort of circuit is that like you see your friends 2 or 3 times a year at least, and you meet so many other bands, and you can do a little network, and I mean how I ended up after Christabel and John's playing with J.P. Harris, because like we kind of rent in the same circles, and but I mean that's just the way that works.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then same thing with Woody Pines and Loves It. I did little runs with them at times, and then it was all just because we had.
Is he still playing?
That. Woody?
Yeah.
I believe he is. I think he lives on an island. I feel like the last time I saw him was like 2 years ago, and he was like, "I'm moving to an island," and I was like, "Cool."
Oh man, I haven't seen him on any posters or anything lately. It's been a long time, but that was a great fun show too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Goofy guy. And I think it would pair perfectly with this next band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to introduce them, or you want me to?
It's your turn.
Okay. So
I want to do it. No, I'm just kidding. You go ahead.
So this next video is going to be introduced by John. I'm just kidding. This is Sallie Ford and the Sounds Outside performing Bad Boys from Pickathon. What you...
Now.
And we're live. We're back. There was a time when that band was together, and this is still something that I want to do very, very much, but I want to do, so all of our videos are live music videos. To me, that means that the band is playing live. We don't edit from other takes and that kind of stuff, and and we want it to feel like it's a rehearsal. The band is, there's not an audience per se. There are cameras, which adds that dynamic, but everybody's comfy. They're just playing for themselves, and that's the environment that we try to create to get the performance. because there's a million different ways to get a million different performances.
Yeah.
So that's been my approach, and I had always pictured for them, and or I also thought this for Lake Street Dive, but this is the band that inspired it. I wanted to do this video. I forgot what song it is, but the band drops out at some point, and she's just singing, and then the band comes back in. And I thought, like, if it was like a high school gym or like a big room, with the band playing, and whether it was a wireless mic or a wired mic, but she go like a really long wired mic. What they're performing live, and then she's singing and like takes a walk around the block, and the cameras stay with her, and the band kind of keeps going, and then she walks back into the band playing, and then it just like nonstop keeps going. I thought that would be rad for something like them, because
So would the band like fade in the distance, and then it
that's
just
kind of
becomes
how I
her,
pictured it. Yeah,
and then it creeps back in, and then
yeah.
like
And
that.
as she's approaches, she kind of locks back into their time. But the trick is also like, unless the band had a monitor for her to know where she's at.
Right.
But I just thought that would be like a cool
Yeah.
thing to do, and I hope to do that someday
That's
with
funny.
somebody. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
I was playing with Ashton Williams one time, and he had a bass that was, he was wireless, and he was at the pub, and he ran outside, and I could still hear his bass,
oh cool.
but you couldn't see him, and I don't think could hear us.
You're
it
hanging
went-
on at that point.
It went well. I mean, like we just kind of bend with it, but it was kind of funny. And then he was gone for a while because he's Ashton, and he's awesome, and like he just disappeared. But his bass was still going, and then he came running back in, and then he had somebody
He had
like a guitar
somehow
over his
taken a
back.
leak
Yeah.
without missing the note. How that worked.
Here I am.
Just kidding. I know that can be a tricky thing with the Avett brothers. Used to have a section in the set where both brothers would go out in the crowd and whatnot. But there's one song in particular where Seth, who is plays the guitar most of the set, he goes out and does his solo in the crowd. And I know that because without in-ears, because there's a delay in the PA, and so when he gets out and now he's playing to the delay, if that happens, then he's way off to what the band is actually playing. So that's a really big, hard thing to do, but the in-ears make it much easier because then he can kind of totally focus on what he's hearing, because that's what the band's in time with. But there's been a few times, I think in the beginning, they would experiment with one ear in and one ear out, which is great during the set because they can hear the crowd and react and whatnot. But then when they start getting out in front of the PA, everybody's kind of fighting for like the time shift, and it's not like a time shift like that. It's like it's fading in and the time's changing the further the way they get from the PA.
Right.
Sound is cool. And the gentleman who's on there making comments, Paul Tucci, has taught me a lot about sound and time and phase, and I'm so thankful for his lessons on that because it's really opened up my eyes.
Nice.
Anywho, we haven't mentioned you're going to perform a song at the end, or if we have, I'm mentioning it again.
Actually, it's a song about the dacha.
Is it really?
It's called the Dacha Song.
How'd you come up with that title?
Yeah. Okay, so back in 1990, no, I'm just kidding.
Is there a story?
It's about the dacha. That's all.
Okay.
I was just there, and it's such an awesome place.
It is.
And was wading in the river, and I was just like, this is kind of it.
It is.
This is all you really need.
When
honestly.
you get out there, it is. Yeah.
And so I started it there, and then I finished it up in Thomas, West Virginia, on top of a mountain, and I was
Cool.
like, this kind of fits, So, but the last verse of that song brings it back around to the dacha.
Cool.
So it's called the Dacha Song.
But we're not going to hear that.
But we're not going to hear it
Not next.
at all. I'm not even going to play it. Actually, I've just changed my mind. I'm going to play a different song.
I want to share what we joked around about because I know you first as a drummer. That's how, that's how I would always think of you before you started playing songs out. But at the end of the show, everybody plays a song, and how if it's like, all right, now Jon Whitlock's going to play a drum solo on the way out, and then I'd just be yelling over your drum solo. Thanks everybody for
Yeah.
I kind of wish we had done that.
I kind of did too, but then I thought about loading in drums, and I was like, nah.
We often have a house kit that Buddy Honeycutt, because he lives, I don't know, a quarter mile away.
Yeah.
He kept a couple kits here for a while, but they take up space, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll get them back. Oh, my wife is talking to Paul in our chat. Cool. I hope you guys have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this next band, you were the first one that has picked one of their videos. We have a lot of videos with them. I could talk forever about them.
Yeah.
Their songs, they go from very serious to very funny. It kind of reminds me of John Prine, who is my favorite songwriter, in that you can hit really heavy issues with a nice layer of comedy.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think that they do that very, very well. And every time they would come, they would have different musicians for the most part, and they were all absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
They're from New York City, so there is,
There's a lot to choose from.
a lot to choose from up there. What do we want to say? I highly recommend checking out all of the videos that we've made and all the videos that we haven't made with this band, and checking out their albums.
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
you will not regret it.
And if you're, I want to say that they still get together every once in a while and do a show. And if you ever have a chance to see them live, that should be a thing that you do.
Yeah.
And while I'm
Defibulators.
thinking about it, speaking of live, you're in Knoxville, Tennessee, or close enough, I'm at Barley's on Sunday night.
You are.
With both the original trio that I played with into the new band, which is, so the first is Jessica and Mead, and then the second one is Vince Logan playing bass, Cecilia playing cello,
Oh, wow.
and Seth Hopper playing fiddle.
That's amazing.
And then I'm playing drums with my feet and guitar, and it's a hoot and hand whole good time. That's it.
The 7th.
That's March 31st.
Where did I get the 7th from?
This Sunday, Resurrection Day.
Oh, yeah, it's Erection Day.
Resurrection Day.
Got the old band, got the new band, got the erection.
Got the new band, we got the erections. Y'all come down.
Okay, that is another thing that what time?
8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to be there, John, and I say that a lot, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't expect anything.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you and everybody else who I want to see.
Oh, and they don't have to be sorry.
I don't have to be, but I am, because I want to be there, and I'm sad that I'm not. Maybe that's the honest part of it. I'm sad that I'm not there. Am I sorry?
Yeah.
That's kind of pushing. I never realized if I'm sorry, I'm kind of pushing some emotions or expectation on others.
This is welcome to therapy with John. So how do you really feel?
I'm sorry. Well, that's cool that you're sorry, but you shouldn't be, because I don't care.
Yeah.
So your sorrow is wasted. You're just sad.
Yeah, you just.
That's me talking to myself.
You're just so sad.
Yeah. My cuppeth overfloweth with sadness.
With sadness.
Just kidding. Okay, but back to the Defibulators.
Yes.
They used to, when they were touring, do you remember what they drove around in?
They drove around in an ambulance.
Ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which always was cool and freaky at the same time.
Absolutely.
All the death that went down in that ambulance.
It is Defibulators.
Right.
Is the band name, not
Defibulators.
not yeah.
Right.
So that's also kind of quirky and cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce this song?
I do. I love this band and I love this song, and because it's so fitting for that time.
It really is.
Where well, everybody's got a banjo.
Everybody's got a banjo.
Everybody's got a banjo, and even if they can't play it,
That's
sure
right.
looks good. So this is Everybody's Got a Banjo by the Defibulators.
Yep.
Yo.
There's an old
My goodness. This is the end of the show. The end of this artist picks that we recorded on March 29th, 2024. Our artist today is Jon Whitlock, and he's going to perform a song called the Dacha Song. Thank you all so much for hanging out, watching this, sharing it, going to Patreon, donating what you are able to keep our lights on and to keep us growing. Thank you so much. So here's the end of our show. Jon Whitlock, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll do it again. Without further ado.
It's time to wake up, the telephone is ringing. All day rushing round, falling behind. Sitting in traffic, daydreaming of leaving. You're wound tight, too tired to unwind. Day is done, you just clock out and you shut down. Overworked, underpaid, getting off late. You drive the same roads every day in the same town. The walls are closing and you can't escape. So walk off of your job and go down to the river. Don't waste your life chasing nickels and dimes. Take back your time and your time will deliver. All that you need is in the simple things that you've left behind. Summer storm is demanding attention, and the night sky it longs to be seen. Is all the time you give up worth the pension? Is all the stuff you buy what you really need? Well, someday all we'll have are the memories. Are you making yours bitter or sweet? Live now, spend your time in good company, 'cause you can't take all that shit when you leave. So walk off of your job and go down to the river. Don't waste your life chasing nickels and dimes. And take back your time, and your time will deliver. All that you need is in the simple things you left behind. Well, at the top of the hill, there's an old shack and a trail that leads down through the trees. Well, head out now and you can keep what you take back. Or shut the light out, take nothing, just leave. And walk off of your job and go down to the river. Waste your life chasing nickels and dimes. And take back your time, and your time will deliver. All that you need is in the simple things you left behind. Gotcha.
Boom. That brought back that brought back memories.
Yeah.
Thank you
Love that
so
place.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all again for tuning in. I'm about to go play some baseball with some boys, and yesterday was the beginning of this year's MLB season, so that's exciting. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for everything. I hope you all have an incredible day. And lastly, some might argue, more importantly, that if you're on the interstate, the left lane is for passing. So you get over, you make a pass, then you get back over. And that's how traffic works. That's how accidents are put at bay. Let's just keep some organization out there on the road, because it causes more problems than you can imagine just sitting out there in the left lane.
Yeah, and while we're on it, all the truckers out there, it's a zipper merge. There's no reason to block the mile before the merge. No reason. It does not work. Scientifically, it is proven. Zipper merge. Just saying.
And there's your lessons for life for today. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.